Good evening and welcome to the 6 o'clock news on Saturday the 1st of April. It's just past 6 o'clock and thank you for joining me this evening. I promise you, although it's April Fool's Day, there are no jokes in any of our stories tonight. They are all true. 3 men have been charged following the discovery of a suspected cannabis factory in Weymouth. Officers attended a premises off Avon Close on the Granby Industrial Estate just after 9:30 a.m. on Saturday the 25th of March and uncovered a large-scale operation cultivating what was believed to be cannabis plants. Following a search of the area, 3 men aged 24, 26 and 40 from London were arrested on suspicion. They were subsequently charged with producing a Class B drug and are due to appear in Poole Magistrates Court shortly. Detective Inspector Regis of Weymouth CID said as a result of information received, officers have uncovered what is suspected to be a large-scale drug cultivation operation. A police cordon remains in place and members of the community can expect to see an increased police presence in the vicinity as the site is cleared and further inquiries carried out. If any members of the public have any information about suspected drugs misuse or supply offences, please come forward and tell us. And as ever, you can contact Dorset Police on 101 or anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Following the oil spill from the Perenco pipeline in Poole Harbour, there are reports of oil deposits washing up on the west and north shorelines of Brownsea Island. It's an incredibly sensitive time for many seabirds gathering and foraging for food in preparation for the breeding season. The pollution continues to present a significant threat to the birds and marine wildlife in Poole Harbour, an internationally important wetland and special protection area, which is a haven for wildlife including sandwich terns, avocets and oyster catchers. Chief Executive of Dorset Wildlife Trust, Brian Bleed, said whilst we were initially encouraged and reassured by the action taken to contain the oil spill, it would appear that the containment has not been fully effective and the news that the pipeline is still leaking fluids is very worrying. It is now a matter of urgency that Perenco commit to deploy more resources to clean up the oil before it has potential devastating impact on the bird breeding season. We will not have a full picture of the damage caused to wildlife for weeks, if not months. Now, Dorset Council this week issued a statement regarding apparent recent conversations about the use of Portland Port to accommodate asylum seekers. The statement reads as follows. Dorset Council and the local MP Richard Drax have been made aware of conversations between the Home Office and the owners of Portland Port to site floating accommodation for asylum seekers in the port. We have serious concerns about the suitability of the location for this facility. The Council has had limited input and has no decision powers on this. Dorset Council goes on to say that media inquiries should be directed to the Home Office and to Portland Port. Now, staying with Dorset Council has submitted a brand new planning application proposal to demolish the former Weymouth and Portland Borough Council offices at North Quay, Weymouth. If approved, the demolition will be the first phase of Dorset Council's ambition to regenerate Weymouth's waterside economy. With the recently announced £19.5 million levelling up funding, along with plans for North Quay, the Council intends to regenerate other areas of Weymouth, including the Pavilion Peninsula and the town centre. Dorset Council's previous application to demolish the former council offices and redevelop the site was withdrawn after the Area Planning Committee voted against the proposal in September 2019. The new planning application seeks only to demolish the former council offices. No plans for redevelopment are included. If the Area Planning Committee approves the proposal, it will enable the council to prepare options for the site. Any plans for future redevelopment will be brought forward in a separate planning application at a later date, and until that time the site will be used to create temporary additional parking spaces. Onboard travel announcements are to become mandatory across Britain's bus network in new plans announced by the government. The industry will be supported to implement this through a £4.65 million fund for small operators to upgrade their vehicles. Roads and Accessibility Minister Richard Holden said this will be a massive boost for passenger independence. Disabled passengers across Great Britain will be able to travel more confidently thanks to new laws that will boost accessibility for everyone. The Department of Transport is introducing the rules that will require almost every local bus or coach service to provide audible announcements and visual displays identifying the route and direction, each up and coming stop, and the beginning of any diversions. The changes will be implemented gradually, with almost all vehicles required to comply by October 2026. Now, staying with buses, millions across England are encouraged to hop around for £2 this spring as the £2 bus fare cap is extended to the 30th of June. Thanks to £75 million of extra government investment, the fare cap means passengers can save on a single bus ticket, helping them travel more affordably for education, work or medical appointments. Extended from today, the 1st of April, the offer will apply to more than 5,000 routes in England from over 140 operators as the government continues to help households through this difficult economic period while levelling up transport and growing the economy. Dorset Council is opening the doors to digital again thanks to an innovative and environmentally friendly way of raising funds for its digitally excluded residents. From now until the end of 2025, money raised from recycling old council laptops will be invested in the Digital Doorway scheme, which buys devices for people in need. This is expected to raise £100,000 and help around 500 people who would otherwise be left behind in the digital world. Organisations that work with Dorset Council area residents are now being asked to refer anyone to the scheme who they think could benefit from a laptop or a tablet. Last year, the first phase of Digital Doorway, which was funded with a £20,000 COVID recovery grant, gifted devices to 96 people. It also provided data links to those that needed it. Now, any organisation that would like to find out more about Digital Doorway and how to refer people they work with can email digitaldorset@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. That's digitaldorset@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. Now, officers are appealing for witnesses, officers from Dorset Police that is, are appealing for witnesses to come forward after the window of a van was damaged on Portland. Dorset Police received a report at around 9 p.m. on Friday the 24th of March that a window of a van had been smashed in Park Estate Road. Dorset police officers are also appealing for witnesses or anyone with dash cam footage to come forward following a road traffic collision in Weymouth. Dorset Police received a report at 8:03 on Friday the 31st of March of a collision on Dorset Road in Upwey involving a blue Volkswagen Golf and a black Nissan Qashqai. The Golf reportedly overturned as a result of the collision, and officers were assisted at the scene by the fire service and the ambulance service. Road closures were put in place as the emergency services responded to the incident, and 2 people were taken to hospital for treatment to injuries that were not believed to be serious. Now, if you've got information on either of those incidents, do contact Dorset Police on either 101 or if you wish to give information anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. The Police and Crime Commissioner for Dorset has welcomed new arrangements for immediate justice. The government has announced that under the new anti-social behaviour plan, Dorset will be one of the first areas for the new immediate pilot scheme, where swift and visible punishments are delivered to those who have committed anti-social behaviour. The plan also sees a ban on nitrous oxide and gives the police more powers to test for drugs on arrest, so more suspected criminals can be tested and more drugs tested for, including ecstasy and methamphetamine. Bit of a tongue twister. The new immediate justice scheme will target those found committing ASB or antisocial behaviour and will make perpetrators repair the damage they have inflicted on victims and the community. The ambition is for a quick turnaround and work happening as soon as 48 hours after their offence, so victims know antisocial behaviour is treated seriously and with urgency. Offenders who will be made to wear high-vis vests or jumpsuits and work under supervision could be made to pick up litter, remove graffiti and wash police cars as punishment for their actions, and victims of antisocial behaviour from the local community will be given a say in offenders' punishments to ensure justice is visible and fits the crime. Election results for Dorset's Youth Parliament representatives were announced recently at a ceremony at County Hall in Dorchester. Huge congratulations were given to Cam, Megan, Stanley and Tilly, who are the newly elected Dorset Council representatives at Youth Parliament. 4 successful candidates will take up their roles as follows. Stanley and Tilly are the lead representatives for Dorset at Youth Parliament, and Cam and Megan deputy lead representatives for Dorset at the Youth Parliament. Dorset's representatives at Youth Parliament represent Dorset on a regional and national basis, helping to engage young people in politics, democracy and citizenship. In partnership with Dorset Youth Council, they deliver the Youth Voice Manifesto to improve the lives of young people. Prior to the election announcements, many of the young people talked about their campaigns at a presentation hosted by Councillor Andrew Parry, who gave thanks for the work of last year's leaders and set the scene for the results with a quote from Winston Churchill. And this is the quote: "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Manifestos range from making changes to school uniform to tackling mental health support in schools, and many candidates spoke about the importance of being taught life skills. Now, if you want to find out more about Youth Parliament here in Dorset, just search for Dorset Council UK Youth Parliament on Google, and I'm sure you will find some information on it and learn about what these young people do in representing other young people across the county. Now, 2 wards at Dorset County Hospital are merging to create a centre of excellence for the care of older people. Barnes Ward and Day Lewis Ward will come together as Mary Anning Unit from the 3rd of April. That's Monday. The ward teams have chosen their name. The ward teams have chosen to name their new unit in recognition of the pioneering achievements of the celebrated local paleontologist Mary Anning. The staff are proud that this is the first unit at Dorset County Hospital to be named after a woman. The new specialist unit will meet the complex care needs of frail older people in an environment that promotes multi-professional support and training. Sonia Gamblin, Divisional Head of Nursing and Quality at Dorset County Hospital, said, "We need to embrace the needs of our older population and create a centre of caring and competence excellence involving our health and social care partners. To meet the growing complex needs of older people, the acute hospital ward needs to develop an environment that attracts the very best skilled staff and provides a place of study, train and create high-performance centre of excellence for frailty. We want to be able to offer our older patients the best possible care in an environment that suits their specific needs." Now, the hospital's wayfinding signs are being updated across the hospital to direct people to the new Mary Anning Unit. And if you want to know more about the new Mary Anning Unit, you can go to the Dorset County Hospital website and search for Mary Anning Unit, and you will find out all the information about it on their website. Now, the coroner for Dorset is seeking the assistance of the public to find the next of kin of a man who lived in Weymouth. David Peter Besant, who was 64 years old, died at his home address in Great George Street on Tuesday the 28th of March. His death is not being treated as suspicious and no police investigation is needed. However, the coroner's officer Tracy Jeans is keen to locate family members. She says, "We are not treating the death as suspicious. However, we have not been able to locate his next of kin. If any member of the public has any knowledge of his family members, please contact us as soon as possible on 01202 123 900. That's 01202 123 900. That's family or next of kin of David Peter Besant, who was 64 years of old, who died at his home in Great George Street this last week. Now, 1666 is a long time ago, 357 years in fact, but an ancient Weymouth charity is still supporting around 100 youngsters each year and fulfilling the legacy of its benefactor, Sir Samuel Myco, after all those years. The trustees of the Sir Samuel Myco charities gathered yesterday in St Mary's Church, Weymouth, for the annual Sir Samuel Myco commemoration, as decreed and written by Sir Samuel himself in his will, which was written 358 years ago on the 21st of September 1665. Now, Sir Samuel Myco was born in Weymouth and was a wealthy London merchant who employed thousands of people manufacturing wool products for export. He owned many ships which he used from the port of Weymouth, and they transported his wool products around the world and then brought back products such as wine, currants and nutmeg, which other Myco family members were producing in ports around the world. The will of the 21st of September 1665 set up a trust to fund 3 apprentices and another trust to set up to provide a monthly pension for decayed seamen. Myco's will set out that the trustees and beneficiaries should attend a service on the Friday before Palm Sunday each year to hear a sermon by a good divine, and afterwards should process to his pub, the George on Weymouth Quay, where refreshments should be enjoyed of lemonade, wine and buns, and that trustees should receive reports from beneficiaries on their progress. This year the trustees were joined by H.M. Lord Lieutenant of Dorset, Angus Campbell Esquire, and local mayors from Weymouth, Portland and Chickerell, as well as the freemen and aldermen of Weymouth and Portland. After the service they processed behind the mace bearers of Weymouth to the George Inn on the quay for refreshments. This year was also unique in that it was the first time ever that one of the ceremonial maces of Weymouth was carried by a woman. And finally, in our headlines tonight, Finn, Ben, Malachi, Patrick and Elliot from Weymouth's Wow Youth Musical Theatre Group are all showing true dedication to their next show this Easter at the Weymouth Pavilion Theatre. The boys have all agreed to wax their legs to achieve the silky smooth finish required of a truly fabulous drag queen, and will be raising funds for charity in the process. This Sunday, all 5 will begin their transformation from regular teenage schoolboys into glamorous drag queens for the teen edition of Everybody's Talking About Jamie. The boys intend to use this painful experience for the good of others and are charging their fellow WOW members for the pleasure of ripping off a strip. All funds raised will go to an anti-bullying charity. Now, performances will be at 7 p.m. nightly from Wednesday the 5th of April through to Saturday the 8th of April, and there will be a 2 p.m. matinee next Saturday. To purchase tickets, visit the Weymouth Pavilion box office. Well, there you go. That's our headlines tonight. And the time has just gone 6:15, I think. And now, tonight, we have 2 features for you on technology and different ways it's being used locally. Firstly, Dorset Council and Litter Lotto, have you heard of that before? Litter Lotto have joined forces to launch a new initiative aimed at tackling littering and rewarding citizens who are doing their part to keep the area looking glorious. The partnership will see users of the Litter Lotto app in Dorset given the opportunity to win an additional £100 each month on top of the £1,000 weekly jackpot and spot prizes already available. Now, Litter Lotto is the innovative app that uses gamification, God, that's a good word, isn't it? Gamification, to encourage citizens to dispose of litter properly and has been making waves in the fight against littering. The app allows users to keep tabs on the amounts of litter they dispose of, as well as a chance to win a prize on each submission. Each entry also goes into the draw for the weekly and monthly jackpots. The scheme was launched in Dorset last year and has already seen local residents win cash prizes. Simon, for instance, a keen litter picker and local Sherborne resident, recently won £100 by using the Litter Lotto app. So, what is Litter Lotto? Let's have a look and learn a little bit about what it's all about. there we go, that's Litter Lotto. Now, from what I understand, basically you download the app. Every time you put some litter in a bin, you take a photo of it and you submit it, and you get entered into a draw. It's just an innovative way of encouraging people to bin litter. Now, Litter Lotto has already been successful in incentivising litter picking and promoting responsible waste disposal. The app has received positive feedback from users who have praised the experience as both fun and rewarding. The app's unique approach to tackling littering has made it a popular choice among individuals and organisations looking to make a difference. So you can join the fight against littering and download the Litter Lotto app today and start earning rewards and being with a chance to win £1,000 weekly jackpot or the new £100 monthly prize for users in Dorset. Why not give it a go? Particularly if you're out and about walking, you could be picking up litter and binning it, taking a photo, submitting it, and having a chance to win some money. Now, our second story this evening also looks at another technological solution. Now, England has become the first country in the world to launch clinical training in perinatal mental health using extended reality technology, or XR technology. Perinatal mental health conditions affect between 10 and 20% of people giving birth in the UK. While these problems are often mild and last for a short period, some can present as severe mental illness, and without the right immediate support and care can pose a high risk to parents and their babies. Treatment for perinatal mental health conditions relies on healthcare professionals being able to engage and communicate effectively with patients to determine the severity of their condition and make the appropriate interventions. However, there are often limited opportunity for learners to practice these skills in a safe learning environment where they can practice and reflect on their experiences. Now, a groundbreaking patient avatar has been developed by Health Education England in partnership with Fracture Reality and allows healthcare learners to expand their skills on interacting with people with perinatal mental health problems through a series of instruction-driven simulations. So let's have a little bit of a look at this and see how avatars and extended reality is helping some NHS staff with their training.
Meet Stacey, a virtual patient. She is presenting with symptoms and signs in keeping with an acute mental health illness. Learners meet her in a private consultation room in the hospital.
Hello, Stacey.
Hello.
My name's Luke, and I've been asked to speak to you a little bit about how you've been feeling recently. So it'll involve me asking a few questions.
They conduct a mental health assessment and try to make sure that she gets the right care. After the simulation, learners watch and evaluate the recording with the instructor.
Stacey knew that they were going to ask about that. And
Join XR allows students to practice face-to-face communication in non-routine encounters with realistic digital patients.
If something goes wrong in this consultation, it is just a simulation, and they can learn from their mistakes without there being consequences.
These avatars, these scenarios are really very realistic and really lifelike, and I think that's very different from if it's just a peer-to-peer doing role play, or even if it's just kind of trainee doing role play. This feels very, very immersive within that situation.
Real-time feedback in Join XR creates an innovative and safe training environment.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk to me about today?
I'm a little low.
The use of standardised cases makes it easier to evaluate each student's approach.
The same patient appears anywhere, at any time, for any learner, the same way. And they're safely there, ready for the next learner.
Join us on Join XR.
There we go. That's an innovative way that immersive technology is used to help train NHS staff. So the technology can be used in an augmented reality where learners are able to practice in their own clinical setting, as well as virtual reality that offers students the chance to experience interacting with Stacey in her own home or in other clinical settings. It's been designed to allow students to practice their skills in a safe environment until they are able to take the skills they've learnt into a real-life clinical setting. The study has shown that this new immersive method of training is highly usable and useful for learners and educators. Some highlights including participants showing significant improvements in cognitive and emotional understanding after undertaking the simulation. So there we go. Two quite different ways that technology is helping with different issues here in Dorset. Now it's that time in the programme where we go to our regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This weekend, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves releases in cinemas. The film is based on the tabletop fantasy role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons and stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Regis Jean Page, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, and Hugh Grant. This film revolves around a group of misfits and outcasts as they try to take down a con artist who has become the lord of a town. The film so far has over 90% positive reviews from both critics and audiences, making it one of the best reviewed films based on a game. It is also expected to be the first in a live-action multimedia franchise based on the game, with Paramount Plus, with the streaming service Paramount Plus giving an 8-episode order to a TV series developed by filmmaker Rawson Marshall Thurber, most famous for his collaborations with Dwayne Johnson on the films Central Intelligence, Skyscraper, and Red Notice. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is in cinemas this weekend, so go check it out. I do know Cineworld had an early screening a couple of weeks ago, and I think there was quite a lot of positive reviews that came out of that. So I'd say for more info, just look online. This week, the Japanese anime film Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was released on home video. The film is a prequel to the smash hit anime series Jujutsu Kaisen, with the film revolving around Yuta Okotsu, a young student who becomes a sorcerer and seeks to control the cursed spirit of his childhood friend Rika Orimoto in Jujutsu High, alongside other skilled sorcerers in training. The film was a box office success both in Japan and internationally, and has 98% positive reviews from both critics and audiences, although the ending is controversial with many die-hard fans due to changes from the manga. Now, I watched the film because I'm a fan of the series, and I ended up really enjoying it, with it expanding upon the mythos and backstory of the franchise and had excellent animation and fight sequences. I ranked it third in my best films of 2021 list, with a 5 stars out of 5 rating, which I don't think I give quite a lot, so I do highly recommend watching it because it's a prequel, and because it's a prequel you don't have to watch Jujutsu Kaisen to understand a lot of it, but the story is expected to continue in Season 2 of the anime series coming this year, but accessing it on home video is difficult, or you'll only be able to find it on Amazon or your local HMV. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will preview the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew, and don't worry too much about those pronunciations. I have the same trouble, particularly in our quiz programme, when I start reading the quiz questions and find some really strange names there that I struggle with as well. So there we go. Now it's that time in the programme where we see what weather is in store for us this weekend, and we go to the Met Office for the national weather forecast, the national weekend weather forecast, and this week I think we're joined by Jonathan Vautry.
Hello there. April is getting off pretty much to where March left off on the rather cloudy and damp theme for many of us. We've got this lingering occluded front that's been persisting across southwest England, Wales and certainly into Northern Ireland first part of this morning, bringing a band of rain, heavy in places, and it has caused a bit of localised flooding. Elsewhere, there is some rain wanting to push its way into eastern coastal areas, but actually parts of northwest England up into northern Scotland actually seeing some brighter skies first thing, and it's the Northern Isles where we'll hold on to the best of the sunshine throughout the rest of the day. The rain in the west will gradually ease out, but it is going to continue on and off throughout the day. Further spots of drizzle wanted to push into areas of Lincolnshire and Yorkshire thanks to an easterly breeze off the North Sea, and in that breeze it is going to feel quite chilly here. Coastal areas of England and Scotland not seeing much higher than 7, 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Areas more towards the west will be slightly milder, highs of 13 or 14 degrees across Wales and southwest England. Into this evening, the rain will continue to ease off across Northern Ireland, but probably push more now into parts of western Scotland, and generally western areas will hold onto the cloud throughout the night. In the east, though, we start to feed in some drier air from Scandinavia, and that's just going to allow the cloud to break up a bit more, parts of Aberdeenshire, Northumberland, down into North Yorkshire. So underneath those clearer skies, temperatures will drop off a bit more here, lows of 2 degrees across Aberdeen, 3 degrees for parts of Newcastle, but holding up a bit more elsewhere underneath that cloud. It's into Sunday where we'll see more significant changes in our weather, and that is thanks to high pressure that is wanting to build its way in, and that will help settle things down. Our winds will ease out, and it's also going to help decay that occluded front away. For the start of Sunday, there will still be some outbreaks of rain for parts of Scotland into eastern coast of Northern Ireland, and can't rule out the odd spot of rain for Wales and southwest England throughout the day as well. But for southern Scotland, central eastern areas of England, the cloud is going to continue to break up, and Sunday is looking like a pretty fine day to be out and about with a lot of good prolonged sunshine. Temperatures still slightly cooled when you're directly on that eastern coastal areas, between 8 to 9, but still pushing towards 10 degrees now we've got that sunshine in place, but still slightly milder as you head further inland and towards the west. As we move into the evening, the cloud is going to continue to break up even more, and we will see a persistent number of clear intervals during the night. That's just going to allow temperatures to drop off more widely though, and so we'll see a more widespread frost develop come the first part of Monday morning, and we'll see some further chilly nights as we head throughout the new working week as well. For some of us though, it's not going to be a working week because it is the start of the Easter holidays, and thankfully it is going to be fine and bright for many of us. Areas in the north and west though do just need to watch out for some rain that will want to push its way in more towards the middle part of the week, but in the south and east you are looking to stay relatively dry throughout much of the week. Do keep up to date with the full forecast though, and you can do that by following us on all of our social media channels. If you're watching on YouTube, then do make sure to subscribe as well, and we'll see you again here shortly. Bye bye.
Thank you very much there, Jonathan. And let's see what the local weather has in store this week and see if it follows the national weather forecast. Look at that. So it's chilly, but there's some sunshine with the best days being Sunday and Monday, but not too wet this week, which is really, really good. So if you're on holiday this week, at least it should be dry and maybe some nice sunny spells, although it could be quite chilly at night. Moving to our What's On section, coming up at the Weymouth Pavilion, 5th to the 8th of April, as we mentioned earlier, Wyke presents Everybody's Talking About Jamie. 14th of April, Electric Light Orchestra Experience. 15th of April, The Searchers Thank You Tour. 16th of April, Bobby Davro in the Easter Pantomime, Rapunzel, that's just one day only. 22nd of April, Slade UK. 27th of April, Giovanni Pernice, Made in Italy, and 28th and 29th of April, Weymouth Cider Festival, if you like a glass of cider or two. Now, the box office is online at weymouthpavilion.com or on the telephone at 01305 783 225. That's 01305 783 225. Coming up at the Knowth Fort, starting today, the Easter Fun Fair. I don't think it's a fun fair as in like fun fair rides, but it's things like Easter egg hunts and crafts and all sorts of things, and lots of fun for children and families, and that runs through to the 16th of April. And of course they have their Coronation Festival weekend on the 6th to the 8th of May. Now, church services in Wyke, Regis this weekend: 8 o'clock at All Saints Church Communion, 9:30 All Saints Church Communion, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Lane House a communion service. Of course, our quiz programme will be on shortly in, oh goodness, where are we? 3/4 of an hour roughly, and also we have a quiz running this evening at the Memorial Hall in Wyke, Regis, so in two places at once, both online and a live quiz in person. And we hope to also have the latest version, the April version of A Year Gardening with Clive Gray, available to go out this coming Friday and repeated next Sunday over the bank holiday weekend, so look out for that to see what Clive has in store for us this Easter as he starts to prepare things for the summer season. Now, traffic and travel this Easter. There is a bus replacement service between Poole and Bournemouth tomorrow on the trains. Then engineering work takes place between Friday the 7th and Monday the 10th of April. Customers are advised to check their journeys before travelling over the Easter period. There is a bus replacement service between Woking, Winchester, Andover, Reading and Andover, the Staines area, and between Clapham Junction, Earlsfield and Wimbledon. So it's going to affect quite a lot of services running from Weymouth through to Bournemouth and up into London. So do check before travelling. On the roads, roadworks likely to cause disruption. The shutting of the road at the rear of Gloucester Mews continues through to May. We've mentioned that for the last couple of weeks. Work at the junction of Lane House, Rocks Road and Fremantle Road is ongoing, although they are very good there, and they are removing the traffic lights when they don't need to be working in the road, rather than just leaving them there, which is very much appreciated. Also, roadworks that might cause disruption in Abbotsbury Road, Dorchester Road and Littlemore Road over the coming week or so. Now that brings us towards the end of this evening's programme. Don't forget, we do want to hear from you. We want to know what's going on, any events that you're organising or fundraising you're doing, or any local news you've got, and you can contact us at news@wykeregis.tv 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Of course, I will be back here next Saturday at 6 p.m. on our Easter weekend programme as normal, and I hope that you will join me then. If you are starting your Easter holidays, I hope you have a good Easter holiday, especially if you're going away anywhere. If you're staying local, let's hope the weather stays nice for you and you can get some days out or do some nice things. This evening, just before we finish, I'm going to leave you with a video from Kevin from Dorset Hospital, giving us advice on how to access and when to go to A&E, as they are expecting a busy time over the Easter holidays, and they have some advice to share with you. And other than that, I will say good night, and I'll be back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. Have a nice weekend. Good night.
Hi, I'm Kevin, and I'm an emergency medicine consultant here at Dorset County Hospital. Our team here saves lives and treats serious and life-threatening conditions. So please come and see me for chest pain, breathing difficulties, severe bleeding that cannot be stopped, severe burns or scalds, stroke or trauma such as a road traffic collision. If you have need for urgent care that isn't life-threatening, please call 111 or 111.nhs.uk. When you choose right, you save lives. Thank you.